Hi, this is Deb, and if you're watching this, you have chosen to complete the Human Genetics Lab as your option for the genetics module. All right, so this is just your instructions that's attached. Those are attached to the class, and you open it. And this first part is everything I talk about in this other video I made about human genetics in chapter 10. So I'd really encourage you to watch that so you're familiar with the terminology. All right, and then we get down to the traits. And those are what we're going to look at. So here's your Human Genetics Lab. First, you're going to answer some questions, multiple choice. That really is just firming up that you understand that terminology. And here you are. You're going to look at yourself and figure out your phenotype, what you look like, written in words, not in genotype letters, but in words, and your possible genotype, since you know what you look like, all right? And decide if you're dominant and recessive for each of these traits. Here's an example. Let's say I'm a person that has freckles. So the first thing I'm going to do is write my phenotype has freckles. I can't put capital F because it gets confusing and I'm not sure you understand what you're doing. So phenotype is words, genotype are the letters for the recessive and dominant traits. So since I have freckles, if you look back at your chart, you'll see, or your instructions, you'll see that's dominant. So if I express a dominant trait, I'm going to put a little X over here. And I'm going to talk about my possible genotypes. What could I possibly have for my mom and dad? I could be two dominants, so two big Fs. That would show up as freckles. Or I could be a capital F and a little f. And if you've watched the other video, you know that's heterozygous, and it actually displays itself as the dominant trait, and it masks that recessive F right there. So we don't know which one I am. There's no way to know without doing maybe a whole pedigree for me. We could figure it out. But with this, just looking, I have freckles, so I'm dominant. It could be that or that. So you're going to write down both of those every time you have the dominant trait. You're going to write both possible genotypes. Now let's say that you don't have freckles. So you write no freckles. Well, guess what? We know your genotype now because it's the recessive trait. And the only way you could display that phenotype is if you have two recessives. So it's two lowercase f's, two small f's. And click over here on recessive. Just a heads up that some of your word processing programs might want to change your two little f's to a big F and a little f. Just keep an eye on it. All right, let's do one together. Tongue rolling. Well, it turns out we've used it for years. You probably did it all the way through grade school and high school, but tongue rolling is definitely connected to genetics, but it's not a trait that is true. You will find out, but we're going to pretend it is. All right, so I can roll my tongue. And if you look back at the instructions, the ability to roll the tongue is dominant, capital R. So pay attention to what letters are used here. That could get you. All right, since I'm dominant there, I'm either a capital R, or capital R, lowercase r. And dominant. Let's see, let's do another one. I'll skip down here because I'm recessive on this one. I have a straight hairline. Look at your hairline, and if it goes straight, comes down to a point a little bit in the center of your forehead, that is a widow's peak. And it actually lends itself to people that have a heart-shaped face and all that business. And widow's peaks are dominant. So mine goes straight across. It doesn't come down to a little point. And so that, my friend, has to be, oops, what letter did I use for that? Let me go and look. Oh, W. So I'm two little W's. And recessive. All right, so go ahead and finish all this up for yourself. And then you're going to research a current topic in genetics. It can be anything. So just Google genetics, current, go on a current science page. Find something interesting and write about it. At least a 100-word summary, and be sure to include the hyperlinks to your sources. That's the same if you did the Punnett squares as are these questions. They're the same. The only thing that's different is you're doing this your human genetics instead of the Punnett squares. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.